Guys, I gotta say it. You're going to hear the argument about if Charlie or Charles Kirk was a racist. You're hearing it all over social media. You're hearing it all over social media, and whether he was or not, I'm going to pinpoint some very true statistics in a moment. I'm gonna present some very true statistics on what his debate was about. And you guys can fact check me. You guys can look on the internet, pull up all the statistics. If you look at all of the facts of what he was talking about, as opposed to the actual data, you've got to actually look at how he painted certain ethnic backgrounds of people. It was the picture that he painted. It was the picture that he painted. One of those statistics, when he was talking about that black people do the most crimes, blah, blah, blah. Look up the statistics. Google it. You say if a black person and a white person committed the same crime, who's more likely to be incarcerated? Let me know your answers in the comment section. Just Google it. Google it. When we talk about black men being absentee fathers, that's not true. Fact. See, and here's the thing. What I'm saying is that they had the wrong. Charlie Kirk, he wasn't debating against somebody like me, because I would have hit him with fact after fact after fact after fact, backed by numbers, data, and statistics. Numbers, data, because you can't lie about the numbers. When we talk about the population of men that flood our prisons, it's actually the white male. By number, by sheer number. Even though we are incarcerated at a much higher rate. Which means that if a black person and a white person were pulled over for doing the same crime, I would end up in jail more than that person would. When we talk about the crack epidemic versus the opioid epidemic, look at which one is bigger, but look at which one was penalized the most and which epidemic was helped the most. I understand that he was patriotic. I understand that. I understand he's patriotic and loved his country. But the information that he was talking about painted a particular group of people in a very negative light that was not truthful at all. That was not, and I'll go toe to toe with anybody on this, was not truthful at all. And I had to do this. I said, you know what? When this happened to Martin Luther King, a nation got together and they actually sang, "We shall overcome. We shall overcome." A nation got together. Liberals, Republicans, blacks, whites, unified. What do you guys see happening out there now? What do you guys see happening out there now? What was the message? What was the message? And I respect everybody's belief systems, but I'm talking about pure facts, pure data, pure statistics. And me being a black person that happens to be quite conservative, when I looked at everything that he was saying, I say, well, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. When you talk about this is not true. If you actually sit there and listen to him, listen to what he was saying, whether you're a liberal, whether you're a conservative, actually sit down and listen to him. And then fact check him. Fact check him. You know, it is unfortunate what happened to him, but at the same time, we can't actually sit down and be like, he was this type of person and he didn't, the information that he spewed out was kind of truthful, but then it wasn't. It really wasn't. Fact check everything. Because a lot of us just like to sit down and listen and all right, without actually checking the facts. A lot of the debaters that argue with them. Now, I have my own stances on transgender and blah blah blah, and I'm not disrespectful. And my heart actually goes out to them. I say, hey man, that's a tough call if you feel that you got to do this. My wife works with those at the school. Those people that's going through changes and they want to do changes, and my heart actually goes out to them. So I do have a lot of conservative beliefs, but they're not founded on, how can I put this? You don't hear it in my voice when I'm like, this needs to be done this way, this needs to be done that way. You don't hear it. You hear more of love and concern in my voice. More of love and concern in my voice. Again, when you think about Charles Kirk, listen to what he said. He made a profound statement that he said that Martin Luther King, we hail him as like he should be put on, the Mount Rushmore of blah blah blah. And I was like, that's not true at all. He hasn't seen episode 8 of the Boondocks. So a lot of information that he was debating about and giving to our youth wasn't even 100% true. And I'm not saying don't eat the meat and spit out. I'm not saying not to listen to him, but they have a saying that chew the meat and spit out the bones. My personal thing, when I listen to all of his debates, and I've got nothing to do but listen all day. I'm out here in the field 8 hours before I come and say something like this, and I'm like, no, that wasn't a message of love. that wasn't a message of we shall overcome. That wasn't a message of the Good Samaritan when Jesus actually told the parable of somebody being indifferent than you and he actually cared for them. That was not the message, folks. That was not the message at all. Again, yes, when I said it was unfortunate, somebody was like, well, yeah, it was more than no, that's unfortunate that had to happen to him. And still, his message did not get through. Message still didn't get through. Listen, and I'm not saying I'm a PK, so I'll pick up a Bible and I'll start going line for line with anybody, and I'll also be like, no, that's not what Jesus intended. No. A lot of times we do it in the name of religion. Like we've done in the past, America. We've done a lot of things in the name of being religion. Don't get me. Listen, in order to, here's the thing that they say. If those of us that forget our past are doomed to repeat it. And what we should have brought up was everything from the past, because now it's in a repetitive cycle. Think about that. I'm interested in your comments on this. It goes for interesting commentary. Peace.